Hello, it's Mary Beth Shaw. Welcome back to Mad Scientist. Today I'm going to be playing with embossing powders and also these Tim Holtz embossing glazes, okay? There's similarities yet differences in the two products generally, but I know y'all have them in your stash because I sure do. I've had them forever and I do like using them. So I'm going to switch the camera around and show you a few ways that I use these products and ways that you might expect to use them with stencils because they're fun and it's a cool result. All right, we've got the camera switched now. I got a lot of stuff here, so bear with me. This is one of these Teflon heat things because I'm going to see if I can build some skins over here. This is just a piece that I keep adding to, and then maybe one of these days it'll be done. Who knows? These are a couple stencils I'm going to use. I've got a variety of papers, and I've got a little coffee filter because this is a great way to easily get the powder back into the container because you know you want to do that, right? All right, so first of all, I'm going to just use a clear embossing ink rather. This is clear, ultra slow drying. So first I'm going to put a little bit over here and see if I can start building a skin. I'm just not sure about this. I tried a little bit and it just wasn't doing what I wanted to do. So I decided let's just turn the camera on and see what it's going to do, right? So that was a boho blend by Gwen LaFleur from Emerald Creek. Embossing powders last forever, so I'm gonna just play ignorant because I don't even know if you can still get these same products. If you can't, I'm sure you can find something similar, online. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. All right, so I have some of that saffron just laying right there. I'm gonna turn my gun on, my heat gun. And I'm going to just emboss it on here. I know I'm not even using a stencil. How weird is that, right? But you can see it's starting to emboss. This is how you know it's embossed, when you can see it changing like that, okay? For those of you who weren't with us back when we were rubber stampers and doing this all the time, right? I used to emboss up a storm back in those days. I even made some embossed jewelry, believe it or not. And this was all very, very new to me and fun. And you know what? It's still fun. It's still fun. So I'm going to layer up a couple colors on here and see what we can build. This is the distress. Now, here's the thing about the distress. They're embossing glazes, so they're a little bit translucent, whereas look at how opaque that one is. When we put this on paper, you'll definitely see the difference, but let's just, do I have anybody with me that is old enough to remember the Suze Weinberg ultra thick embossing powder? Oh my gosh, that stuff was crazy. I'm not sure if this is going to stick. We'll see. It may blow around. Oh, there it goes. Blowing, blowing, blowing. All right. Good idea. No go, right? I had a friend tell me they had a friend who was using embossing powders to make, now see, it got all over my thing. This is how I am. I am a pig with these things, and I'm just gonna tell you I'm a pig with these things. Anyway, this friend of hers had pressed some stencils into embossing powders and made some little skins, and I was all over the idea, and then I couldn't get it to work. And it's probably because my stencils are so dirty. So I don't know. We're going to try a lot of things. But I want to get a layer is what I want to do. And you're maybe not seeing the color change on this, but it is embossing. It is translucent, so you can still see some of the underneath color coming through. And I do love that, right? It's just cool. All right, I added a few more colors, embossed them, and I'm gonna put some of Seth's vintage beeswax on top. This is one of my favorites. Oh my God. And we are gonna use a stencil. So I put the embossing ink on top, and I'm gonna sprinkle some of the beeswax on there. What I'm attempting to do here is to build some thickness. I'm going to keep the lower heat because I don't want it to blow away. It still did anyway, some of it. My desk is a mess here. You should see it. When this gets embossed, I am going to press this stencil in, part of it, when it's still hot, okay? And then I'm going to fold this Teflon over top. All right, that's looking kind of interesting. I've got a lot of layers there. I want it to be hot, hot, hot. I'm going to heat it up on the higher speed. And I'm going to put this on top, just a little bit of heat over it, and then press this down. It's hot. It's hot, people. I'm reaching right now because I thought maybe a brayer would be a better idea than my hand. It wasn't burning me, I will say that. Our stencils here at StencilGirl are made out of mylar, so they can tolerate heat up to like 200 degrees. I use them for encaustics, but I've never heard of this idea before. Now look at that. That's interesting, huh? Very interesting. I feel like I did not emboss it enough. I feel like I can still see a little edge there. I'm going to get a palette knife and see if I can get this to come up. My idea of what I want to happen here is for this to be like a skin that you would make, you know, with like acrylic paint or something. It is coming up with the palette knife. It's kind of interesting for a first attempt. First attempt, people. I'm going to keep going though and keep adding more layers to this because I feel like I didn't get enough over there. These parts I'm just going to scrape to the side. Kind of curious if they go back in there, but who knows. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit more of the embossing powder. You know what I'm going to do? I've got the refill here, and I'm going to go direct on it with the refill to see. I really want the that's not coming out of there. I guess it is. It's just pretty subtle. I want it to be a little thicker is what I want. I'm gonna go for it. I have this idea. I mean, what I'd like it to do is to simulate like a wax seal. If you had those wax things that you impressed something into. I don't even have one of those. I always thought they might be kind of cool, right? But all right, so I'm gonna try to do this through there first. I've never done this before, but I just am having too much of it blow away. Oh, there it goes. It did it again. There's a lesson in here somewhere, Mary Beth, if you were listening for it, right? Yeah. Yep. All right. Oh my gosh, it's blowing some of those edges apart. This is super cool, you guys. See how some of those edges it made before? It's blowing apart. Now this is getting exciting for me because this is the kind of thing that I love to experiment with. Uh-oh, I don't want that to happen now. I'm gonna see if I can get that away. Oh, that's molten. I'm gonna need to open the window in a minute. I have a feeling this is not the best thing to inhale. So if you're doing this at home, wear a mask, do an open window, something, okay? I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna put this on top, turn this off. I need another hand. That's what I need. Another hand. Let's see what happens this time. Okay, so that did not press in anything. It just did that little bit where it had made the lines before. All right, I'm going to go get a stencil that has really small spaces because I'm thinking this probably, the openings are just too large. So let me go get a stencil. I got millions of them. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I've got a different strategy. I'm going to rub the ink pad right on the little guy I got going here. I'm going to get one of Tim's things because I think it's going to be more transparent, which might look really nice. And I'm going to apply it right over the little coffee filter because then that'll be easier to control. Yes. Ooh. Didn't grab right there. All right. So here's the thing. Is all these products are going to work together because, I mean, they're all some sort of embossing powder. They need an ink. They need a powder. They need a heat gun. You can, as your ink, if you don't have an ink pad, you can use some of the gel mediums with these too. I've done that plenty of times and it actually does work. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I've got this part of a clean stencil ready. It's very tiny, so I'm going to be ready to go right there. I'm going to get the heat gun, and I'm going to get ready, and we'll see how this works. Oh, it's springing some more holes. That's all good as far as I'm concerned, but I still want to get a stencil involved here, right? Hello, I'm Stencil Girl, right? I will say that you do need an extra hand to do this. Or else I'm not doing it right, but you know, that's why it's a mad scientist presentation. All right, let's see here. I don't know. There's a little bit in there. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see the little texture of the Greek key design in there? I wonder if that would come up if I had some rub and buff or something, if I could buff a color over that. I naturally don't, I don't think. I couldn't find any rub and buff, but I found some fine gold, iridescent gold, fluid acrylic, and I've just rubbed it around on here with my finger. Now, it's going to dry down, and it'll actually stabilize this a little bit too. So this might not be a bad way to go. I'm going to get a little paper towel here. think it's kind of pretty though. I would definitely use that as a skin. I am not sure the stencil added a lot to the process, in all honesty. So we're going to move this to the side and go to the next part of the embossing program. And that's going to be using this piece of art here. And we are going to add, so I like this, and I like what we're building up around the edges, but I like this idea of building some smaller parts in. And I also like the idea of using this distress, this hickory smoke, which is going to be a darker color. So I'm pretty excited about that. We'll see if this will go through the stencil. I think it should, because it's a sponge, right? And we'll put this over our coffee filter. And we'll spritz the hickory. And look at, it's really taking it quite nicely. Put it back into the container to save it. And then we'll go ahead and emboss this and see how it looks. I think it's going to be cool. Oh yeah, I love how that looks. You can see the translucence of it. The white is still peeking through. Now here's the thing too. Okay, so let's say you want to add more of that hickory smoke color. You can just put it right on there, right? I mean, just go for it. Because you have, you know, what I always think is when I'm, you know, adding additional things to my art, I like to do this a similar treatment over a few places on the art. So this, and then this color, and then let's put a little bit of it right in here. And we'll take it over to this edge. All right, because I feel like it adds a lovely sense of repetition to the work. And oh yeah, look at that. I think this is going to be good. If I keep working on this piece, it might turn into something, right? You never know. All right, that's a lovely example of embossing on top of a piece of art. This is 300-pound watercolor paper. I've got acrylics, I've got collage, I've got all the things on here, and it embosses beautifully. So I would encourage you to spread your wings if you still own some embossing powders. Use them with stencils, use them without stencils. Use these embossing glazes that Tim Holtz has as part of his distress line. Use Seth's products with StencilGirl Studio. He has some really cool metallics. There's all sorts of these powders out there. And don't forget that you can emboss straight away on pieces that you could use as collage later on. Tissue paper, old vintage paper, deli, anything you can think of, you can emboss pretty much. It's astonishing to me how this old time product that we used to use for so many years is still out here and still working. I mean, they don't go bad, right? So play and see what you can come up with and report back. I'd love to hear it. And if somebody makes any more of those little weird parts, I would love to hear about that too. Thank you so much for watching, my mad scientist, and I will see you next month.